Okay, this is Orlando Wilson, and what I want to talk about in this video is something which I bumped into quite often to do with the travel management side of the close protection business, the side of the security business, or travel management business in general. And for those of you who don't understand, if you're managing close protection services, you can also be managing people's travel, and you need to understand how to book and manage people's travel. One of the issues I bumped into, and I'll give you a story in a second, which could have been a major issue, is hotel check-in times. A lot of hotels are not into, they're not going to give you an early check-in. Well, you can get an early check-in, but again, that can cost more money, it has to be booked, etc. A lot of hotels have fixed check-in times, and it's usually in the afternoon. I bumped into some, it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is late. If your flight arrives in the morning, I had it recently, I was a few hours early. Oh, sir, do you mind leaving your bag here, or leave your bag in the hotel and go sit in a cafe somewhere until it's time, till the rooms are ready? Generally, the decent hotels, if the rooms are ready, they'll allow you to go in early. But early check-ins can be a pain, and it's something that needs to be taken into consideration. If you're traveling with a client, this is where somebody should generally go in advance, at least 24 hours in advance, to make sure everything's ready, everything's set up, the hotel rooms are ready, etc. If you turn up with a client that's got meetings, and again, you arrive not at the hotel 9 o'clock in the morning, and you're dealing with some asshole of a hotel manager, and there's plenty of them out there, they're not going to allow you in your room till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. What are you going to do? All right, especially if it's a long flight. You, the client especially, you should be able to handle it. The client wants a shower, a cup of coffee, change, and get ready for business, but they can't do it because the hotel room's not busy. Hotel room's not ready. I'll give you one story of something that could have been a major disaster for me, and this, of all places, Dubai. And to me, Dubai, if we go back a few years, was top. Now, I don't think so. If you're dealing in the UAE, if you want to go to UAE, I prefer Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi is a lot more business, a lot more service orientated, a lot more quality these days. Dubai has become very questionable. It's, I'll leave it there. As far as standard of service is concerned, it's not what you expect from United Arab Emirates, which is generally top. Anyway, I turned up. I needed to go to Dubai for a few days with a client, and I went in advance to just make sure everything's sorted out, etc. And generally it's to do with flight times. My flight arrived something like 2 o'clock in the morning. I got into Dubai at like 2 o'clock in the morning. The client was coming in like 10 o'clock in the morning. We understood, I had to go to some meetings with them, that's it. I understand how hotels work. So because the hotel, there could be general issues with early check-ins, etc. You have to explain to people, and yes, generally explaining to people, they still get it wrong. So we booked the hotels for the previous night. So even though, let's say I was getting in on a Tuesday morning, we booked the hotel for the Monday night. We booked 2 rooms for the Monday nights. So the hotel was booked and paid for the previous days. So our rooms should have been reserved. Turn up, go to the hotel rooms that's been paid the previous day. No worries. Okay, I turn up at the hotel. And I turn up, I check in, whatever, go to check in, and they had notes about when we're turning up, etc. Turn up, and I explain, okay, I'm here, and they're looking at me like, okay. I said, we want such and such a room, so the rooms weren't ready. Do you mind waiting? I'm like, well, why is the hotel room not ready at the time I was there, 4 o'clock in the morning, or 3 o'clock in the morning? I said, we made notes, the rooms, we were arriving in the early hours, I was arriving in the early hours of the morning, the client's coming in later, the room should have been ready. The rooms should have been ready since yesterday. Well, I take it the fact we didn't book in, even though the rooms were paid for, they put the rooms as unoccupied. And somebody's explaining to me a lot of them do it because if they're if the hotel is connected to a lot of the booking websites, if they show the hotel rooms are unoccupied, they can still try and sell the rooms. But I said to him, well, we paid for the rooms. Anyway, the rooms we were given, the room I was assigned, the guy said, the night manager was like, okay, you can stay in this room, but you have to change it like whatever time, and then change it like 10 o'clock or something. I'm like, well, why are you giving me a hotel room, and why do I have to change hotel rooms? Because we reserved certain hotel rooms. Client reserved the suite. And they're like, yeah, but they're not ready. And it's like, well, we paid for them. You've taken their money since yesterday. Okay, after a major argument for a couple of hours, I went to the rooms with the guy. I said, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Looked at the room they'd given us, and it was a complete shithole, even though this was a top hotel. Lower floors, windows were dirty and everything else. And if you know Dubai, if you're on the lower floors, you're going to be looking at concrete, other windows, and generally they're not too hot. Even the top hotels are not too hot on cleaning the windows. They have to be cleaned regularly, if not they get filthy. So not happy. After major arguments, I got everything rectified. The rooms were available. Just, I think it was more to do with the hotel manager being an asshole, etc. That's it. And as somebody explained to me afterwards, they most probably wanted to keep the rooms open because they're trying to sell more rooms, even though we booked in for how many days. So this is where if you go arriving early at a location, even if you book the hotel in advance for the previous day, ensure you're in communications with the hotels, and they're not going to try and screw you over. This was a case of the hotel manager trying to play games, the night manager. I think that day I got a couple of hours sleep. When the day manager was on, that's when the serious people turned up. I went down and ripped him a new asshole. And they were nice enough to say, yes, sir, it's a big mistake. We know you paid for the rooms and all the rest of it. They should have been ready. Why weren't they ready? They pointed the finger at the night manager for fucking up. You know what? If I turn up with the client at 10 o'clock in the morning and he had meetings around lunchtime, we had to come in, get changed and head off. It'd been a major mess. Because again, the client would be looking at me of, oh, did you book the hotel rooms? Well, yes, we booked them. We've done everything as planned. There would have been an issue. So this is where sending somebody a little bit in advance, even if it's 12 hours in advance, to make sure the hotel rooms are booked, to make sure everything's good, makes sense. Just another story about that hotel. And this is where, to me, Dubai has gone downhill big time. Night after the first meets, we go to the hotel bar, typical trendy little bar, etc. Grab a beer or two, talk about what we needed to talk about, back to business. End of the day. When we got to hotel bar, or hotel, or whatever, it was a bar, I think it wasn't really a club, it was a bar. Got to the hotel bar, on the roof, etc. The doorman said to us, okay, do you have reservations? So, this is the hotel bar, right? Yes. You need reservations. I said, do we need reservations? Yes, sir, you need a reservation, etc. And I went into it and said, well, why wasn't we told we needed reservations for the hotel bar? And the guys, then this bouncer, this doorman was like, oh, but I can help you out here, whatever. You know, I was like, fuck you, goodbye. This is where the place was empty. You don't need reservations to go into a hotel bar. And from my experience, if you got a bouncer, if you got a doorman saying, oh, I'll help you out, I'll do you a favor, you're not doing us a favor. You want a tip. You want something. You want to appear to be doing us a favor, even though most probably think we're stupid foreigners, and we're going to give you a tip because you're allowing us into your bar. You know what? At that point with that hotel, we didn't even complain. We grabbed a couple of beers on room service, went to the client at the suite, talked about what we needed to do. That's it. And we'll never be going back to that hotel, because even though it was a 5-star hotel in Dubai, it might have on the outside, how can I put it? It's run like a 1 star. I wouldn't give it any stars the way they run that hotel and the standard of the staff.